Prince De Rola often gets mentioned in various Rolling Stones biographies as a mysterious young aristocrat who got busted with Brian Jones. Apart from the fact that he and Brian were close friends, little is known about him. A fascinating figure in the 1960s as an actor both in Europe and Hollywood, musician, fashion trendsetter, lover of some of the most beautiful women of the time, and friends with a veritable who's who of pop icons. To this day, he remains a man of wealth and taste.
It's like a huge ballroom part of this apartment, which was full of still Anita's trunks. And searching that, they found a vial of liquid methadone, but it was all moldy. It literally had a thick film of no desperate junkie could have used that. And then this detective inspector sort of picked up a thing, looked at it in the light, and he said, he said, I wouldn't like to know what's been in there then. And Brian was like, oh, what? And he says, cocaine. And then that's what we both said, oh no, you know. And he said, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to charge you with that, am I? He said, I'll never forget those words. He said, what could be in there? 1,000 for the grain, he said like that. 1,000 for the grain. Well, next thing was in the papers, cocaine found in huge titles. Cocaine found. What cocaine? What? We were charged with possession of grass.
Where was that?
Non-existent.
Oh, okay.
We were charged with possession of the methadone and the cocaine.
And what was in this wallet?
Some grass, some disgusting little herb that I certainly wouldn't have smoked. It was just some awful looking quality of weed. And the weird thing is, the next time I went to Courtfield Road, after the police, the dogs, everything had been, I found a piece of hash the size of this on the damn floor, in the middle of the floor.
Okay.
Obviously, they'd either left it, the police, when they came, because, I mean, how come nobody found it, you know? But there it was.
Didn't they arrest you in handcuffs?
No, we weren't in handcuffs, so you got to realize we were saying, all right, we're under arrest. So we said, oh, okay, fine. And we thought it was also ludicrous with Mick and, you know, those guys were front page, headline, every paper. And there we were being busted. Well, they took us down to Chelsea police station, but as we came down out of that apartment in South Ken, there was a camera crew already set up and filming us. Now you tell me, the press had been calling all morning, you guys been busted, so they'd leaked out the story that we were going to be busted. And it just hadn't, the press was ahead of the game. But we never suspected that the police would play such a dirty trick. And then they took us to Chelsea police station, and we were, you know, it was really friendly until, you know, they kept asking to sign autographs and all this kind of thing. And suddenly somebody barked, and shut up now! And everybody came to attention, and okay, I'm gonna read the, you know, they read the charges, and then somebody from the Stones office came and bailed us out, as it were. So we signed these things, and by the time we were through being arraigned, as it were, they had to, there were so many people from the press had come that we had to, the police said, get Brian's car to the front door. So the press gathered around it, around this silver Rolls Royce, and we went round up, they took us round the back, and we got into a black cab and went to the Hilton. We rode up all the way up to Alan Klein's suite at the penthouse of the London Hilton. And we entered, I'll never forget this sight. We entered, it was amazing choreography. The doors opened, we entered, there was a room full of people, and on this TV, there Brian and I being arrested, already on the news. And so Alan Klein was very, very cool about it all. He said, right. And the hotel said, these people can't stay here, etc., etc. And Alan, to his eternal credit, he blew a fuse and he said, do you know how much I spend in Hilton hotels? And he made such a fuss that they gave us rooms at the Hilton.
The story goes that they turned you away and you called Paul.
No, absolutely not. The story's wrong. Alan Klein fixed it that day that we would have rooms there. Then it was that night, Brian and I were in his chauffeured car. We were going somewhere, and suddenly there were police cars everywhere, and they stopped us and they said, oh, we've been tipped off that this car's full of drugs. And so they dragged us out and searched the whole car and then let us go. And after that, the lawyers had begun to say that they're going to bust you, the two of you again, and told Brian, you have to stay away from Stash and you have to stay away from the other Rolling Stones, because you need to isolate this thing, make it more difficult for them to bolster the charges, especially with this, they tried to arrest you again. So that's when Paul rang up. I picked up the phone and I said, Brian's not here. He said, I'm not calling Brian, I'm calling you.